excited because we're filming at Parker's Corner Market in beautiful downtown Liberty Hill.
Hey, Chef Reneé.
Hey, Monster, how you doing? Yeah, I'm finding everything great.
So much for dinner.
Well, you know, we're coming up on Valentine's Day, so I thought a really good thing for us to do today is show the folks how to make a quick, simple, easy, and elegant Valentine's meal for them and their loved ones. So we're going to start with an apricot stuffed fennel rub pork tenderloin, yum, and then we're going to add to that a lemon-scented couscous, very easy, and then we'll finish it up with a sauteed spinach with garlic and pine nuts. How's that sound to you?
Great. Sounds great. I can't wait.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started getting our pork tenderloin ready. The first thing that you're going to want to do is chop yourself up some nice dried apricots. You can get these usually in the produce section of the grocery store. Add to that a little bit of chopped onion. This is way too much, but go ahead and chop up extra onion because you're going to need that later in the recipe. And then you're going to have a little sugar, a little brandy, a little, my favorite, a little garlic, and some salt and pepper for this part of the recipe. So the first thing you want to do is smash your garlics. Just give it a good whack, just like that. And then you're going to do the same thing with the next one. Give it a good whack, okay? And that kind of smashes it up and releases some of those oils, and then you can go ahead and start chopping it up really nice. You can just go ahead and put that in with your onion because you're going to cook it all together. So we're going to step over to the stove and go ahead and get our filling ready. So I have a little bit of butter heating in my pan here, just on a high heat, and I'd say 2 tablespoons of butter is plenty. When you start to hear it sizzle like that, you can go ahead and toss in just a generous handful of onions and garlic. Okay, just like that. Move it around a little bit because we don't want that garlic to burn. And then when you start to see your onion get a little translucent, that'll probably take 4 or 5 minutes. Go ahead and toss in your dried apricots. Just a little pinch of sugar. I'd say that's probably about a tablespoon of sugar. Give that a little stir. And then maybe a little salt and pepper. Then you can go ahead and pour in your brandy. Now I do want to caution you, if you have an open flame like here, as you can see, I'm working on a gas stove, so you want to be careful. Go ahead and pour your brandy in, and it'll catch on fire. Woo! Nothing to be afraid of, but just go ahead and back away from the flame a little bit. Give it a little shake. And what that is the alcohol cooking off, and so you'll be left with the flavor of the brandy, but without the alcohol. It's just a neat little flambé trick that adds flavor to your stuffing. And remove that to a container to let it cool. You'll want this to cool completely before you start trying to stuff your pork tenderloin. So this is definitely something you can do ahead, even the day before if you like, and let it sit out in the refrigerator. Okay, so this is the makings of our fennel spice rub, and this is going to be such a delicious rub. You're going to use it on a ton of things. You can sprinkle it over soups, you can put it over popcorn, you can put it over any kind of meat or fish. It's super, super tasty. I use it in my pantry all the time. So what we're going to have here is a cup of whole fennel seeds, 2 tablespoons of black peppercorns, whole black peppercorns, 3 tablespoons of whole coriander seed, and 3 tablespoons of coarse ground salt. Now this happens to be gray sea salt just because I like the taste of it, but any salt will do. So we're going to grind it in a spice grinder, or you may know this as a coffee grinder if you're a coffee fan. Okay, so what we're going to do is go ahead and prep our meat. Now you can see they usually will come 2 to a pack. So what you want to do here, just to make it easier to work with, is go ahead and cut it in half. 1 will be plenty to feed 2 people. Okay, so for this process, you can use any sort of cylindrical object. So I'm using my knife steel here, but you could use the end of a round spoon or a piece of PVC pipe, anything that is cylindrical in nature. So what you're going to do is just go ahead, hold down on your piece of pork, find the center, and just start pushing it through. You're going to push it all the way through so that it comes out the other side, like a meat shish kebab. So what you're going to do then is put your finger in the hole that you've made, playing with your food again. Go ahead and, just kind of make the hole bigger with your fingers. The meat's pretty tough. It's not gonna come apart on you. And the next thing you're gonna do is take a couple of pieces of twine and you'll tie off one end. Now here's a trick that's gonna keep your twine in place. This is good if you're trying to truss a chicken or any kind of thing like that where you've got to tie up a piece of meat. It helps it hold its shape, and this will keep it from coming untied. When you cross it like a shoelace, and then cross it again. Then pull it tight, and then tie it off. Okay? Like that. So now you can just cut off the ends of those strings. Just to make it nice and neat. And now you're ready to stuff. So you're going to take your stuffing that you made earlier. It's cooled off where you can touch it now. Just kind of stand it up on end like that and start putting stuffing in it. Just kind of keep poking it down in that hole. And you can kind of feel when it starts to get full and not much more will go in. Stop just a little bit. See, there's maybe a quarter of an inch there at the end where there isn't any stuffing, because you'll need that to be able to tie it off. So you can set that one aside. Go ahead and stuff the other one. Okay, so you're going to get 2 more lengths of string just like you did before, and you're going to tie it off at the other end. About ½ an inch from the end is good. And this is just going to keep the filling inside while you're cooking. Okay, so now you've got it all tied up here on the end. So the next thing that you're going to do is take a little Dijon mustard with a little paintbrush. Sell these in all kinds of grocery stores. Be sure to use one that you've only used for food. And you're just going to paint Dijon mustard all over your pork. Okay. So then what you're going to do is take your fennel rub and just start rubbing it all over the meat. You can even just put it on a plate and roll the meat around in it, whatever works the best for you. And that's one reason I use it, do it on a rack like this, because you can contain the mess. All right, so now it's covered, it's ready to go. I'm gonna wash my hands, and then we're gonna put it in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes, and then we'll start taking its temperature and make sure that it's done all the way through, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So while our pork tenderloin is cooking, we can go ahead and get started on our lemon-scented couscous. It says 1 to 1 cup of chicken stock to 1 cup of couscous. I like to do just a tad more than that, so maybe 1.25 cups of chicken broth. That'll give it a nice flavor. And then to that, you're gonna add 1 bay leaf, a sprig of fresh thyme, give it just a little sprinkle of salt, and then you're going to add some lemon peel. Take your little peeler, and you want to avoid, see that white part? That's called pith. You want to avoid that pith. You just want to have the lemon peel part. If you get the pith in there, that's going to taste really bitter, so avoid that part. So go ahead and toss your lemon peel in there, and then to that, go ahead and squeeze in 1/2 of a lemon. I hold my hand underneath it just to catch any seeds. And then you can let this go ahead and cook on the stove top. Okay, so then you can see our chicken stock is coming to a boil now. So as it comes to a full rolling boil, we'll go ahead and add our couscous in. Stir it to make sure it gets mixed in really well. Go ahead and turn your flame off at this point and put that lid on really tight. And then you're just going to leave it alone, let it sit, and what will happen is the steam from the boiling of the chicken stock will go ahead and cook that couscous. Okay, so it's been about 35 minutes. Let's go ahead and check on our pork. Now, it's really important to test your meat with a thermometer to just make sure that it's up to the right temperature. They say for pork it should be somewhere around 165. I personally find it a little dry at 165, so I do it at about 150. I'll take it out of the oven, and then you'll find that the residual heat will go ahead and bring it on up to temperature as it sits and rests. Up to temp for you. Looks like we're just about done, so we'll go ahead and take it out of the oven. And then what you should do at this point is go ahead and grab yourself a piece of foil and just loosely tint it. It doesn't have to be really tight, but just enough to help it hold in the heat. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and toast those pine nuts for your spinach dish. And so it's just a dry pan. You don't put any oil or anything in it. Go ahead and put your pine nuts in. You're going to give this pan a little shimmy shake once in a while. That's going to toast these nuts. They're going to start to release their oils and be pine nutty yumminess. Spinach is done at the last minute. It doesn't take any time at all to saute. So you're just going to do it really quick right before you're ready to put the food on the plate. So just put a little bit of oil in the pan. It doesn't take very much. And go ahead and put your garlic in there. So that, you only need to let that cook about 30 seconds or so, just so you can really start to smell it. It smells wonderful. And then you can go ahead and put your spinach in. Don't salt the spinach ahead of time, because what happens is the leaves are really delicate and the salt will burn the spinach. So go ahead and put just the raw spinach in the pan. This looks like a lot of spinach, but I promise you it's going to cook down where it's going to be just enough for 2 servings. And it's only going to take a couple of minutes to wilt down to the point that it's ready to serve. At that point, you can go ahead and give it a generous pinch of salt. And then right at the end, go ahead and toss in those pine nuts that you've toasted up. And that's all there is to it. You're going to go ahead and put it back in your bowl, and you'll be ready to plate up as soon as we've carved that meat. Okay, so that couscous has been sitting for about 15 minutes or so. Let's check on it and make sure it's ready. Oh, that smells like lemony goodness. So just kind of fluff it up with your fork a little bit. Go ahead and take out those pieces of thyme and extra lemon. We don't want to serve those to our guests. You can go ahead and toss a little of your parsley in with it. See how pretty that green color is with the couscous? All right, so we're ready to go. Meat out of its resting pan. It's been resting for about 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and slice our meat, and then we're going to be ready to eat, my favorite part of the day. You don't even need to worry about cutting off this string, because you're going to cut past it. That's just going to be a little Scooby snack for you. You deserve that, because you're the one who has cooked. So kind of hold it together, slice down through it. Let's get rid of that. And we want to keep slicing until we come to our beautiful filling in the center. That is going to be so yummy. Slice it about, let's say, 1/2 inch thick slices, and it will ooze out a bit. That's okay, just let it stay. And the reason I'm letting it stay like this is because then when we arrange it on the plate, it's going to make a really pretty presentation. You don't want to go moving each piece to the side, because then your filling is going to come out and you're going to be unhappy with your presentation. Okay, the moment has arrived. We can go ahead and plate up. So the way I would work this is, I would take my couscous first. A generous portion for Majda. She's going to be my Valentine's guest today. She was so nice to let us come and cook in her kitchen. And then everybody gets a little spinach. And then last but not least, our beautiful pieces of meat. I think I'm going to do 5 pieces for each person. What you can do is just put them on there all together and then fan them out a little bit. And see how pretty that makes it on the plate? 2 beautiful plates. Majda is going to be a happy, happy lady. Okay, I'm going to take this out. I think she's waiting for me on the porch. I'm going to take this out, and we are going to have ourselves a feast. We'll see how it is. Tell me what you think.
Okay, it's delicious.
That's yummy, huh?
Oh, the garlic, yum.
Well, Masha, thank you so much for letting us borrow your kitchen today.
Oh, you're
It's been a
welcome.
lot of fun.
You're welcome. You can try it again.
Well, I hope this makes a really fabulous Valentine's meal for you. Salute.